I always wanted to be an inspiration for people. I do want to set an example, of course. I want to inspire you to work out, keep yourself fit, lay off junk food, create a vision, and use your will to accomplish it. I want you to throw away the mirror, for instance, and not always look at yourself, but get involved in public service and give something back to the community. I want you to protect the environment rather than to mess it up. I'm very happy to take the torch and to be a role model for others, because I've always had great role models myself, like Reg Park, or Muhammad Ali, Sergeant Shriver, Milton Berle, Nelson Mandela, Milton Friedman. They're all great role models. I thought of myself as special and unique, and not like the average Hans and Franz. Being outrageous is a way to succeed. How I dressed, how I talked, I always would look for my own way of doing things. Of course, being different was right up my alley. I didn't have the same body as everyone else, and I didn't have the same car as everyone else. I always wanted to be different. But life is much richer when we embrace the multitudes that we all contain, even if we aren't consistent and what we do doesn't always make sense even to us. When I talk to graduating classes, I always tell a brief version of the story of my life and try to offer lessons everyone can use. Like, have a vision, trust yourself, break some rules, ignore the naysayers, don't be afraid to fail. Woven through the stories in this memoir are some of the principles of success that have worked for me. Turning liabilities into assets. When I wanted to star in movies, the Hollywood agents and the producers, they all talked to me and said, forget about it. My body and my name and my accent were all too weird. They said a body like that will be used maybe in Hercules movies, and people would be scared with the German accent and the name. No one would be able to pronounce it, it's too long. Forget all that. Instead of listening, I worked hard on my accent and on my acting, as hard as I've worked in bodybuilding, to transform myself into a leading man. With Conan the Barbarian and the Terminator, I broke through. The things that the agents said would be a detriment and make it impossible for me to get a job or becoming a leading man, all of a sudden made me an action hero. Or as John Milius said, he was the director of Conan the Barbarian, if we didn't have Schwarzenegger, we would have to build one. When someone tells you no, you should hear yes. The impossible was a word that I love to ignore. The only way to make the possible possible is to try the impossible. If you fail, so what? That's what everyone expects. But if you succeed, you make the world a much better place. Never follow the crowd. Go where it's empty. People apply this kind of common sense all the time, and yet they forget when it comes to their careers. When every immigrant, for instance, was talking about saving up to buy a house, I bought an apartment building instead. When every inspiring actor was trying to land pit parts in movies, I held out to be a leading man. When every politician tried to work his or her way up the ladder from the local office, I went straight for the governorship. I think it's easier to stand out when you aim straight for the top. Figure out what the odds are to have an Austrian farm boy come over to the United States and win all the bodybuilding championships and became the greatest bodybuilder of all times. And then become also the highest paid actor of all times with $30 million. And then, as a Republican, marry into the Kennedy family. And then on top of that, out of nowhere become governor of the great state of California and become kind of the second immigrant governor in the history of California. Writing out my goals became second nature, and so did the conviction that there are no shortcuts. I didn't want to just be a bodybuilding champion. I wanted to be the best bodybuilder of all times. Dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Spend a lot of time by myself so I could figure out and listen to what is inside my heart and inside my head. Imagine you're 15 years old and you're in Austria and you say to the people, I want to be the bodybuilding champion of the world. I had this fire in the belly and I knew that the United States was where I could really succeed. I knew that this was where I could continue my bodybuilding career and start acting also. I was told to my face, you're nothing but a giant muscle. You can't act. You have no future and you have an accent that is laughable. And with your name, Schwarzenegger or whatever your name is, they say, well, forget about that, and they laughed. And there the director said, if we wouldn't have Schwarzenegger, we would have to build one. And then when I did Terminator, I'll be back. One of the most famous lines in a movie history, all because of my crazy accent. It just shows you never listen that you can't do something. Don't be afraid to fail. You should not be afraid of failure. That's just part of life. Anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it and if you believe in yourself. So never give up and never be afraid of failure, because otherwise you box yourself in and you limit yourself. You're going to find the naysayers in every turn that you make. Don't listen. If I would have listened to the naysayers, I would still be in the Austrian Alps yodeling. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. There's absolutely no way around hard work. No pain, no gain. When you're out there partying, horsing around, someone out there at the same time is working hard. Someone is getting smarter and someone is winning. Just remember that. You can climb that ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. To lead a truly full life, we must leave the world a better place than you found it. We must serve a cause that is greater than ourselves. Tear down that mirror that makes you always look at yourself. And you will see the millions and millions of people that need your help. Don't just take. Give something back.